Today's story is Wayland Dreams. Mala looked around. The whole Kolivada was in the shadow of darkness, with the empty lanes, rock pebbles of different shapes, and broken crystals, staring quietly to the silent sky above and carrying the emotions of the gloomy truth hidden behind every walls. Kolivada is typically the area where colony of fishermen live together, rising early to reach the deck and marching towards the interiors of the sea with their nets to catch the fishes in their sleeping zones. At the center there was a circular dimensional region typically known as Bazar Pet. Fish market with variety of fishes, Indian carp also known as katla, surmai, seerfish, labio, rohita, tilapia and the best of all pomfret or paplet, commonly called as butterfish, bangda the mackerel, crabs, shrimps and several others collected by the man from travelling at the sea part and sold mostly by his wife. Several cats were seen flaunting around in the desire of getting some remnants of unwanted fish, which served as their meal. Together the people of this region worked, enjoyed and lived their life to the fullest. Especially their weddings hit the hallmarks of one among several Indian traditions with unique pieces of jewelries, the rituals and beyond all their drinking and dancing styles, holding the wine bottle in one hand and the other hanging in air with every action choreographed to exhibit their occupation and daily lives. They maintain one philosophy in life: work hard throughout the year and enjoy during the occasions. Over the years, many dreams were buried in the muddy pool, small area at the center where the reflection of the stars dazzled at the night, giving hopes of better tomorrow. But same place turned into a crowded, gloomy spot during the busy hours of the day. Mala was hungry, searching in dumpsters for chunks of leftover food thrown by the nearby restaurants, or if any door perhaps would open, putting a piece of bread on the little girl's dried palms, having some mercy on the child of poverty. Exhausted and worn out, she stopped near a corner house with a protective sliding door slightly open enough to get a glimpse of the entire family. Exhausted and worn out, she stopped near a corner house with a protective sliding door slightly open enough to get a glimpse of the entire family having dinner while watching the favorite television show. The lonely girl sat on the broken footstep by stretching her thin feet across the adjacent wall, expecting some household member to throw a piece of chapati and Indian tortilla, which those tiny hands might have grabbed to suffice the hungry cry of the body. But the door gets abruptly shut in front of the muddy face, filled with scars from being pushed and bitten with the harsh challenges of the society. After walking a few miles, she sees a shopkeeper cleaning the shop and offers a helping hand for a small little piece of bread. During the course of cleaning, she accidentally drops a sack of rice on the floor. Shopkeeper beats and kicks hard, adding more pains to the girl's bruised hands and knees. Crying and wailing loudly in affliction, Mala runs away in darkness. She accidentally steps in gutter and looks at the flowing aqua of the Wayland.
Again.
Wayland, a land by the highway, and notices some shining material passing through the water. The little girl thinks it could be someone's ring fallen in the muddy drainage. Suddenly, flare of smile crosses through her smudged face as the innocent mind sees the threads of a better future to change the current besmirched fate that lay down before her. I will sell the ring and then get lots of money. That cash will help me to buy a roof. And not just a roof, an inch piece of ground from Barku to sleep soundly for few nights. Oh, first of all, I will go to a hotel and order a thali. No, that will waste money. I got to save each and every penny. Instead, I will eat pav bhaji. One thing I couldn't have in my entire life and always had a craving, and remaining money can be saved for emergency. Mala started thinking deeply. The floating ring through the speedy water waves created currents of illusionary patterns of better tomorrow in the innocent mind. 3 months ago, she first came to this city with her mother from Rajasthan. Her mother used to sell clothes, but it didn't pay them enough and the whole family ran into debt. The little money collected from their daily sales was used for their food and accommodation. Those few pieces of pennies were never enough to be sent to the village for her ailing grandmother and disabled father. Mala's father had already lost his foot in accident, so the entire day was spent by the man just sitting and gossiping with the other villagers while spending the hard-earned money by her mother on drinking and smoking. It was during the colorful festival of Gangur that few old women in the village told Mala's mother about a group of ladies from distant villages around who permanently migrated to Mumbai to sell clothes and earn a better life for their families in the village. When this idea was discussed initially at Mala's home, there was a lot of opposition, and instead her mother was asked to work at the nearby cement factory. She never wanted to work there as the manager's intentions were never good with the female workers. But no one was listening to the wailing tears of the woman. Instead, every evening there were sounds of beatings heard, and the next day marks of injuries on the skin revealed the physical trauma of the previous night. So one morning, Mala's mother gathered some courage and she left a note and took her daughter Mala and 1-year-old son to leave her small village and the distressed life forever. Deep inside, the lady knew that the crippled husband and the old mother-in-law would never come all over to Mumbai to search for them. How long can you live a life of torture, poverty, and keep seeing the wilting face of your kids reflected their buried fates? Sometimes situations in life rotate a person and forcibly pushes them to the other side of the wayland. Looking out. How long can you live a life of torture, poverty, and keep seeing the wilting face of your kids reflecting their buried fates? Sometimes situation in life rotates a person and forcibly pushes them to the other side of the wayland. Looking outside from the panes of the small window at the breeze moving swiftly, cursing the people and atmosphere around to relax before progressing towards a new journey, the woman's broken, weak mind started becoming more stronger for another phase of reality. Few hours journey from Ghoda, their hometown, to Jaipur, and then overnight train to Mumbai, Mala's mother wondered, looking back at the surrendered life pattern she had been living till now. Not a single time the people around her asked for her opinion in regards to any matter. From being forced to drop out of the school where an intense desire she yearned to study was lost, then getting married at a tender age, physical torture at in-laws' house, to the brutal, breathtaking treatment made the woman wonder, if this is what they call as life, then it is better to embrace the death. If second child was not a boy, the family would have gone to the extent of aborting the fetus, and she would have still kept silent, keeping the tears to herself. Holding the little one tightly in her arms, wrapped with the shawl, and Mala sleeping on the lap, the wave of dilemma continued. If this was an impulsive decision or the right thing to move out of the injustice-filled life. With the sari drape covering the end of the shoulder and the extreme loose side hanging like their enigmatic future, she looked straight outside in the wind's darkened tunnel through which the train was passing by and the small lights towards a more stronger journey to yet another. She landed on the streets of Mumbai and sat on the space besides the traffic signal where all hawkers used to sell their products to earn a living. After a few days, the woman realized that everyone paid hafta, a regular amount of money, to the local gangster in exchange of trading their commercial goods. There was no place to sleep, so she and her children started laying down on the footsteps of temple or in the empty balcony space on sideways. Due to darkness, no one usually noticed them. Brightness created by the opposite street light dazzled in their sleeping zone. There was police station nearby, so no one dared to make any mess in that area. Every morning, Mala and her mother drank portion of water collected from the temple pot to wash their mouth, hand and feet, and used the remaining to give quick bath to the small baby. The priest was kind enough to give them large amount of prasad and sometimes place to sleep inside the temple during the chilled nights because he believed that they have taken shelter in the arms of God, and this is the only way of bestowing humanity on people in need. Then the lady used to go to traffic signal, a regular spot of earning and selling the embroidered chania cholis from the stock she brought from her village. When the train halted at Shivaji Chhatrapati Terminus, formerly known as VT for Victoria Terminus Station, she entered the train carrying stocks of clothes, holding the hand of the little girl and small boy tied to the sari wrapper made across the boom, and sold the clothes all the way till the last destination, Karza. If a ticket collector, normally called as TC, was seen in one of the compartments, she used to rush to another. On one occasion, she was caught for traveling and selling items without buying a valid ticket. But the TC was kind enough to let her go, while on yet another instances, the person in same position made the poor lady pay the fine equivalent to half of the sales collected on that particular day. She also made sure to grab every opportunity coming her way to make the maximum sales in the urge of earning more money. Mala also helped her mother by knocking on the cars to sell their stuff. Even if 2 ghagras sold off, she used to make 400 pennies. 400 rupees, which was enough for them to have lunch and dinner and occasionally save few of the pennies. They sometimes took comfortable bath at the nearby boring well to remove the dirt. They sometimes took comfortable bath at the nearby boring well to remove the dirt accumulated due to prolonged period of roaming in dust and not getting enough water to wash it off. Madam, who owned the place, was given a piece of ghagra choli in exchange of allowing them to use the well water and an internal space for a month to change their clothes. Tarabai Madam, woman in her 60s, ran a garbage store accumulating junk pieces from different parts of Mumbai and transforming them or selling to the local vendors, black market, or to the people of that region for cheaper rates. She had 10 men who used to carry garbage in their tuk-tuk, auto rickshaw functioning on 3 wheels connected to a thick rod with a gear. Mala and her family's lunch was confined to chapati and small amount of veggie from a nearby Pori Bhaji Kendra. The ladies running that food center were kind enough to provide them food at a relatively lower rate. One of the lady working as a chef was a divorcee from an abusive marriage and understood the plight of Mala's mother. Dinner was always a plain dal and rice, and even at times they went to sleep empty stomach, but they saved some monies every day to feed some ounce of milk to the baby. Saturdays were special due to Mahapuja, so abundant quantity of free milk was available at the temple. These milks were sometimes collected by Mala's mother and preserved for a week in the refrigerator of the temple, paying a small amount of bribe to the temple's kitchen maid. This stored food was then used on those days where they couldn't sell even a piece of cloth and hence didn't have any money to buy a plate of food. But it was getting tougher with competition arising and lot of women selling their embroidered clothes. The savings from the salary earned at the cement factory back in the village was hardly left. Shopkeeper of a big mart that was located at the extreme right of the signal had once suggested Mala's mother to try a different kind of business where she could earn in hundreds and sometimes even thousands per night. Understanding the solution offered by the evil mind, she looked at the person in rage and started sitting at the opposite signal. She also made her mind to beg part-time to feed her kids. Once a decent job knocked on the fate of the hungry kid's mother. It was a simple chore of selling cakes for Iranian restaurant outside in tray, and at one such moment when she was selling the cakes and while running behind a customer, the 1-year-old baby got separated from them. In despair, they searched him for days and months together, but he was never found. At times, the poor girl was blamed for not taking care of the baby when their mother was busy earning money for them. Soon the mother became senile and left Mala in Kolivada to disappear on the silent lanes. From that day, Mala kept searching for her lost mother and 1-year-old brother, but she never saw anyone. Finally, to feed herself, she started begging, trying hands at different part-time jobs to earn something, and at times feeding on the leftovers in the garbage. Present situation. With rolling eyes, making turns in an inward and circular fashion, Mala's dream cycle on the ring from the gutter continued. She thought selling the ring at a nearby jewellery shop and keeping part of the money for herself and giving the owner some share in bargain of a permanent job, or even working at a shoe shop would provide some money for daily needs and stability. Also, she remembered that roaming in scorching heat bare feet, a slipper was badly needed. So her hands would work a little bit more for those extra earnings and she could buy a slipper. Now she started dreaming more as when she sell the ring, how much money she will get and how she will use the money. As the sprint of thoughts progressed, she imagined of walking the area in Cinderella's sandal, which is every small girl's dream. Soon she came back to reality and saw that the ring was stuck in the strand that was passing through the gutters. It had black hood obstructing the normal flow of the water. So she jumped instantly to ask for help from one of the Pakya Bahu's gang boys to remove the stuck ring. The boys tried their best, but all efforts turned out futile. Suddenly their attention gets diverted towards the opposite hut, which is a small Desi Daru country liquor traditional rum spot, where there are a lot of illegal drug activities going on. So they decide to find more information about that place and inform the local police in urge of earning some money. They assured Mala that since it is late hour of the night, even a piece of cloth would not be seen in the dark, and they will surely provide assistance the next day. The little girl goes to the small place with roof where the guys were playing cards some times ago. She instantly covers her body with a t-shirt that is left hanging on the chair to protect herself from the cold. Now the rolling eyes of Mala goes back to the dream world. Where did it pause? Oh, I was going to work at a shoe seller or jewelry shop. Maybe save some money from every month's salary and buy a nice uniform like some kids from Kolivada and start studying in the school. She once heard a scolding mother explaining the kids the importance of education and how they can go regularly to school and become an engineer, a doctor or a banker, or at least get some basic job to earn stable salary and get their lives out of their never-ending rage and poverty. Mala thought, at least she can get a decent job and keep searching for her lost mother and small brother by giving advertisement in the newspaper. She will take help of the social workers who always visited that place and put this advertisement of her lost brother and mother in the newspaper. The brain kept making more plans, not wanting to stop, going one step ahead and thinking of bringing her father and grandmother to the city. Nearby ladies once had told her if something comes in the newspaper or television, then it's easy to locate the missing people. The guilt of not taking care of her 1-year-old brother and losing the entire family never faded away from the tiny little brain of Mala. It was past midnight and the thought process that lingered in the subconscious plateau now finally came to halt, and the dreaming soul went into a deep sleep. Next morning she was woken by the voices of the fisherman and a woman, school-going children, brick laborers and other folks who worked at the nearby factories, hotels or shops. She hurriedly rushed to the gutters to see the ring. Policeman came running and put long stick on her head, moving the flicks of hair on the forehead slightly back and in a resentful manner accompanied by a rude tone, asking Mala to leave the place at once or get ready to walk the road to the jail. Mala explained the cop that she was looking for the stuck ring and will go as soon as it is found, but the stubborn policeman literally pushed the girl so hard that she fell in a narrow lane. She decided to stay there. After all, the dreams of the otherwise gloomy life were stored on those waters. Her dreams were contained in the ring, so she had to get the ring somehow. The ring hidden in that aqua was the only fortune to make her out of the poverty-filled life and reunite with the torn family. At a distance, she could see few more police and a kid doing the regular morning toilet routine, and his mother passing warm alarms with scolding notes to wrap it fast as she is free to clean and set back to work. Why so many cops have gathered here? Mala asked the lady. There is always some other thing going on this place, as there are permanent visitors. It seems there was some some mess yesterday night with the local boys and some Gunda gang members. What makes you so much concerned? Get lost, retorted the lady back. Then she continued scolding the little boy. Mala again looked from the slit in the hut to see if anyone was still there. No one seemed to be around, and so taking a chance, the little girl tried to peep into the same water flowing, carrying the pollutants. Suddenly, the searching eyes saw a small thing shining. There was instant smile on her face. Manya, local boy, came along with Chintu to listen to the ring story. Mala assured the boys that if they help her in finding the ring, they could get some share. With hopes of getting some rupees, they decided to join the search. From a real long time, the boys wanted to go to McDonald's. For a real long time, the boys wanted to go to McDonald's and have a burger and an ice cream with double layer of chocolate and strawberry. Suddenly, Manya, the smart kid among them, brought a big rod with a fish net attached at the end. His hands were covered with gloves so they don't get dirty touching the brackish water. After hours of trying to remove the stuff that was stuck in the broken pipeline flowing through the gutter, they end up with a shiny material. It was some scientific part. It was some scientific game part. Was it a slime? They kept the piece on the purplish palms of the girl. They thought it was a big waste of time. Mala couldn't believe that it was not a ring. It was just a slime. Some scientific part, not sure. But this is not true. There was definitely a different sparkling circlet, she thought for a moment. Where did it vanish? So that means the ring was never stuck. It went all the way till drainage. She rushed all the way ahead, but all efforts and hopes within few moments turned into paradigm of vain. The flowing water ended up into huge garbage. The end of the area was filled with black dirt, wastewater from factories, municipal toilets, small rocks, debris, fabrics, pollutants. From a nearby refiner. Mala hurriedly rushed in that heap of waste to search for the ring. She tried to look among the electrical appliances, watches, batteries, and glass tiny shredded parts. Large piece of bulb got stuck in the right foot. Poor girl cried, but there was no one to wipe the rolling tears and console her or look at the bleeding foot. The blood mixed with nala, the garbage water, imparting a red tinge depicting the true picture of our society. Black minds of the people resembling selfishness and negativity blended with red color that symbolized the hidden pains of poverty. Mala took support of nearby short tree branch and rubbed her foot over small leaves and grass clippings grown unevenly towards the outskirts. She could barely walk, bleeding, crying with shattered dreams. Manya and Chintu came from the opposite side, teasing her. Did you find the ring? Oh, round ring. Was it a ring or it was just a slime? A kabadi, a waste. Mass crowd with uproar transpired from the other side of the Wayland, caused by the political rally and its members, who were raising the flag of poverty, policemen, common folks, and kids belonging to Kolivada, everyone running in all possible directions. Dust blew up in the sky, and Mala looked up as her dream's future scattered all around the place on the roofs of small houses, muddy pool at the center, in the shops aligned on other sides of the street, and in the waters of the gutters.